Malaysia is a multinational and multi-ethnic society with different religions and different languages and different cultures, very rich in culture. There is an acceptance amongst the people in this country that we must live together in love and unity.
Basically the main ones are the Malays, the Chinese and the Indians, and then you have got people who are the natives. In the West Malaysia we have the natives, which are basically the Senois, the Jakuns and all that. And then in East Malaysia you have people, natives like the Ibans and the Kadazans from Sabah and all that. So you have got people of various races.
Because we come from a multi-racial, multicultural background, embracing the Baha'i faith in this country was not very difficult because we were already imbued with a sense of unity anyway. And I think that has also further injected special dynamism to the Baha'i community in Malaysia. We naturally feel comfortable in a multi-racial, multicultural setting.
At one time, remember, we have got Jewish people practicing the Jewish faith here. You have got Hindus, which is quite a significant population, the Sikh, the Taoists, the Confucianists, the Buddhists, and for the Muslims, the Christians of various churches. And that is the kind of social or religious landscape of Malaysia.
Because of local statutory requirements, also because of the law of the country, we do not teach the Malays, who are basically Muslims. But there are a lot of Malays who know about the faith. The faith is legally registered in this country, and we operate under those agencies.
Today, the Baha'i faith is recognized in this country as a religion. We are given Baha'i burial grounds to conduct Baha'i marriages because the government appoints the Assistant Registrar of Marriage to conduct Baha'i marriages. So actually the Baha'i faith is free in this country to teach and to spread.
One of the most important element that one can say about the Malaysian Baha'i community is its uniqueness in its ability to quickly obey and also to carry out the instructions of the institutions of the faith, especially the directives of the Universal House of Justice. This is something for which they have been very, very well famed for.
If you will hear about Malaysia in other countries in the Baha'i world, Malaysia stands out like a jewel in the crown.
Hi, I'm Punita Rajan, which is my wife. We live in Subang Jaya Baha'i Community, and yes, it's a very vibrant community over here. Music is in both of us, and I play guitar and harmonica. And going back to school days, I used to play traditional angklung. It's a traditional instrument. And Rita plays piano, organ, and she plays guitar. So we started off together, and we just loved singing, and the children came along and we continued.
Yes, I was quite impressed with the Baha'i chants that I used to hear from the CD ladder. It was nice, and I used to pick up the tunes and sing to them. I find that the kids memorize prayers through chanting very easily.
Rita particularly pays more attention to the children, and she's very consistent with the music classes and make sure that they don't miss the classes. Both our wishes is that they will serve the humanity and the Baha'i faith through music. And I used to tell them, you can't carry the piano along with you, but certainly you can carry a keyboard and guitar, so please pick up and a violin too. Yes, something portable so that wherever you go and teach and serve, you can play the music. Abdul Baha, who is actually is the master or the son of Prophet, he actually has said that music is food for the soul. You feel so joyful when you're in music because the soul is really feeling that, and especially if it's mixed with the words of God.
Currently, the system of education is something that the Baha'is are addressing all over the world. Fundamentally, we believe that material and social education alone is not enough, and that spiritual education is much needed to help people to become a better person.
The activities that the Baha'i community is engaged in is currently, like anywhere else in the world, in taking the teachings of Baha'u'llah and applying it to the transformation and the building of a new civilization. And this is manifested in the activities that we do, because we believe in the betterment of the world that can be accomplished through pure and goodly deeds.
We have 4 different activities that we feel are basically the building blocks, the bricks for this new civilization. Things like devotional meetings, devotional gatherings where people gather together. Doesn't matter what religious denomination they are, praying together, for a better world. And we also have education processes that we do, right up from children up to the adults. From ages 5 to about 10, we have the children's classes. Following that, we have these junior youth programs from the age of 11 to 14. And then from 15 then on up to whatever age, we have got another education process which we call the Ruhi programs.
When this begins to multiply in every neighborhood, then we will see the growth and transformation among the individuals and society for the oneness of mankind that has been promised in the Baha'i Faith.
This is the syllabus that children class teachers here use to teach the children. For lesson 1, we will start with prayer, and then we will teach the children songs, and then we will ask them to memorize a quotation contains good virtues. For example, truthfulness, kindliness, humility, generosity, and so on. After that, we will play games with them. These games is basically cooperative games that needs them to tolerate with friends, to be cooperative, to be understanding. And then after the games, they will color a picture related to the quotation that they have learned in their class.
When the Baha'i Faith came to Malaysia, it automatically became a religion that attracted people of diverse races because they were already living here as one community.
The Malaysian Baha'i community has a comparatively a short history, if you would say about 58 years. The faith came to Malaysia in the 1950s.
It started with the acceptance of young Chinese man by the name of Mr. Yang Ki Leong. He actually went to India in 1953 for a world peace kind of conference, and there he met a lady, I believe Mrs. Shirin Fosda, who then spoke to her about the Baha'i Faith and all that.
My name is Yang Ki Leong. I'm a Malaysian, born in Malaysia. Ms. Shirin Fosda asked me to arrange for her a series of talks in Malacca, Seremban, and Kuala Lumpur. During the talk in Malacca, Seremban, and Kuala Lumpur, many questions were asked, and she answered everything. At the end of the Kuala Lumpur talk, I said, I will accept the faith, and thus I became the first believer in Malaysia.
And from a single person, now we have got more than 200,000 Baha'is in Malaysia. And one of the conferences he attended just about a few years before he passed on, and where he beheld such a huge attendance, and he stood and gazed at the crowd, saying that, "Oh Baha'u'llah, when I became a Baha'i in 53, and today I saw the greatness of the faith through the eyes and the faces of those friends attending at the conferences." He was just simply overwhelmed with such a huge audience that he's able to address.
The Malaysian Baha'i community from that time onwards took off and really focused itself in developing and in growing, both in numbers and as well as in its ability to manage its affairs.
The spread of the Baha'i faith was done mainly by the Malaysians themselves. They took ownership. They understood the Baha'i writings by reading the holy texts and learning about it, and then inspired by the holy words, they went out to teach the word of God to other people.
So in 1953, the Baha'i faith started in Malaysia, and it started in Seremban and then progressed to Malacca, where Uncle Leong Plachi, he became a Baha'i from a Buddhist background, whereas Uncle Yankee was from a Catholic background. The Baha'i faith then started to spread to all parts of the country, through these two beautiful souls.
I became a Baha'i a long time ago in Alusta in 1963. My father and mother came from the Hindu background. We are all Hindus right from the beginning. So when I accepted Baha'u'llah, there was some opposition to my accepting the Baha'i faith. My father especially was a bit upset about it. But when he saw what was happening to me as a young man and how it was transforming my life, he soon began to accept it. What I'm very proud about is that my 5 brothers and 5 sisters and their children have not only accepted Baha'u'llah, but they have moved out to serve the Baha'i cause in different parts of the world. Now, one of the communities that I really admire in this country is the Aboriginal community.
We are very fortunate to have villages upon villages of Baha'i believers, especially in the Aborigine areas. We call it the Asli areas. And they've been Baha'is for tens of years. And they remain firm and fast in their faith up to today.
Saya memang dilahirkan dalam keluarga Baha'i dan saya adalah
I'm the third generation Baha'i, and we are from a semi group from the Aborigines of Peninsular Malaysia. The Orang Asli people live in a community, with close community.
Aktiviti trust yang berlaku di
The 4 core activities which has been called by the Universal House of Justice for today, and all the 4 core activities we are having. One is the devotional meeting, community devotional meeting, children classes, junior youths, and also study circles.
Kami mengajar di
I have not been outside this country, but I've been to most of these Asli areas in our region. So during the time of teaching campaigns, so that's the time we move from one village to another to teach about the faith.
saya
Being a librarian, main concern is that she wanted her community, the Asli community, to be a learned community, based on the books they have, and then in the near future they'll become one of the known in the world.
ilmu untuk berbakat ilmu langsung.
I came to KL in about 1980, and I was investigating various religions and cultures. And in 1982, I stumbled upon the Baha'i faith. I investigated for about 2 years before I became a Baha'i. There's something about the Baha'i faith that really fascinated me, and up till today, there are few principles of the Baha'i faith that really enchants me, and one of it is really oneness of humanity. What I particularly like about oneness of humanity is the fact that it is one God, one human race, and that all the various religions are just various stages of God's revelation. To me, that makes so much sense, you know, and so that fascinates me a lot. The other is the sense that we are all created noble. This is such a wonderful starting point of a soul, that we are created noble, you know, and so these were the 2 points that really attracted me to the faith in 1983-84. One particular unique feature of the Baha'i faith is this unique system of governance. We have Baha'is annually electing local representatives to their local councils. We call them local spiritual assemblies. And the local assemblies in turn elect national spiritual assemblies.
The National Spiritual Assembly once in 5 years elects another higher institution known as the Universal House of Justice. Now we know in the Lord's Prayer it is stated, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." These national spiritual assemblies throughout the world elect a body which is indeed the future governing body of the world. And in that sense, the Universal House of Justice is there to build the kingdom of God on earth.
Anybody who is over 21 years old, resident in a locality, is eligible to vote as well as to be elected, irrespective of race or color or education. Everybody has the same right and the same chances of being elected.
There is no electioneering, there's no campaigning, there's no nominations, which really allows everyone to have the free choice of making his views heard, at the same time protecting the community greater good.
We have to combine the attitude of service, of selfless devotion, of unqualified loyalty, and a well-trained mind. These are the qualities of a person who serves in the assembly.
Because of this system, we do have what we call now councils, and we don't have any clergymen, because clergymen, I believe, appointed, but in this case, they are all elected onto the councils.
Now in Malaysia, this National Spiritual Assembly, which has served from 1964, has of course grown in the sense that at one time East Malaysia and West Malaysia were under one umbrella. Then we broke away. We had Singapore as a separate National Assembly, West Malaysia as a separate National Assembly, and now we have Sarawak, Sabah, all having independent National Spiritual Assemblies.
It started in 1979. At that time, I was still in college, and I had a roommate of mine who actually was investigating about the Baha'i Faith, and he shared me about the Baha'i Faith, and that's how we started actually first with arguing, because I come from a very strong Catholic background. Some of the books that he brought to me were subjects relating to the second coming of Jesus Christ, which impressed me because I am a firm believer of the return of Christ. And this friend of mine, he had a book called Thief in the Night. This is written by also someone who comes from a Catholic background, Mr. William Sears. And the book actually probed me to investigate more about the Baha'i Faith. And I think about 6 months later, I accepted Baha'u'llah as the prophet of this, the promised one of this age.
In 1957, the first Baha'i of Malaysia also went into the Orang Asli villages and started teaching the faith. And we had some of the first implications of mass teaching, mass enrollment, when a large group of these Orang Aslis came into the faith.
I am Muklis, so my family became a Baha'i. I was a third generation. My grandfather was the first Baha'i, in this village. So right now we have children classes, study circle, junior group, and devotional meeting. So these activities are actually not only in this village, but actually it's happened all around the world. It's happened in America, it's happened in Asia, in Africa, it's happened everywhere.
1/3 of the Baha'i community in Peninsular Malaysia is basically indigenous, and they live in the central part of Peninsular Malaysia, which is basically the area which is very much rural. They live in kampongs or villages.
Today, if I want to say which is the most dynamic community, we have a large Asli community of native Aboriginal believers who have taken ownership, and they are now spreading the faith in the vast jungles of Malaysia.
My parents are from the Hindu faith, and the Hindu faith has got many aspects to God. They have goddesses and gods. I was filled with curiosity. Why is there so many gods in the Hindu faith? And I always used to question it. And my brother used to attend a Christian school, and he used to come back with books which are related to the Old Testament. And without him knowing, I used to read all these books, and I used to come to know that there is only one God. I remember a friend of mine who was not even a Baha'i. He came and gave me a leaflet, and he said, "Hey Sina, I found something about a faith called Baha'i, and maybe you might be interested in this." And I was only 18 years old. And I kept that leaflet for nearly 1 year. I did not throw it away because I read it and I thought there's something different in it. When I was going to school, that in the new year, a teacher walked into the class, and he was different. He had a difference in the way he talked to all of us and the way he behaved. And later on, it took us nearly about 11 months to find out, because in class he was not able to tell us that he's a Baha'i. But about 11 months later, I came to know that he was the Baha'i, and he was the first Baha'i that I really met.
This is a Center of Learning for Advancement of Civilization in Jenjarom.
I'm actually the first Baha'i in Jenjarom. Jenjarom is predominantly Chinese. There's a population of about 40,000, I think, in the village right now. And about 85% of them are actually of people of Chinese descent. It started off actually more than 20 over years in the making. It was actually the story of Sun Kam and his brother Sun Ling. Both of them were attending children's classes at that time, and when the children's class were over, both of them were having discussion, and they decided that one day they will build a building, where they will basically be educating more and more people from Jenjarom. So he got the opportunity. While he was working, he got some money and all that. He bought a plot of land. Both of them actually raised the money and gave it for the community.
My name is Andrew. I'm 34 years old. I was born in a small village in Malaysia. It's called Jenjarom. So today we have 11 children classes. We have total about 150 children. And we have 3 junior youth gathering with about 40 junior youth. So we have 2 sessions of children class today. So the first session just finished, and then we are going to have the second session. So you can see just now all the parents are coming to the center and picking up their child and back. So you can also see that the children are sending their children to the other sessions. So this is the main hall of the Center of Learning for Jenjarom. So this hall can cater about 300 and 400 people. So we just had our Nowruz celebration last month. Nowruz is a Baha'i New Year. So we invite all the parents and children to join our Nowruz events. So in the normal days, we will have devotional meetings and some of the activity like youth activity in this area. We have the junior youth camp here, and we have the junior gathering. We have outdoor activity during the junior gathering.
My family is a family of interracial marriage. My husband is from Punjabi background. I came to know about the Baha'i Faith when I was 13 years old. One of my classmates was a Baha'i. In one of our classroom debates, we talked about the question of, is there a God? And I was very much impressed by the way she described God as an unknowable essence. As I knew more and more about the principles of the Baha'i Faith, I knew it was the religion that is the best for me. So around when I was 18 years old, just before I sat for the high school exam, I decided that I cannot forsake God anymore and deny Baha'u'llah, and I have to accept him as the manifestation for today, and that he has brought the teachings that is suitable for today.
This is my sister.
This is my sister.
This is my brother.
And this is my real sister.
And we are all flowers of one garden. Junior Youth Spiritual Empowerment Program is actually a universal program. It's catered for all junior youth around the world. Okay, and it is not only exclusively for the Baha'is. Everyone are welcome to join in anytime they want.
Juniors are the people between the age of 11 to 15 where they need special attention. They will transform physically and also mentally.
Animators are those who basically work with the junior youths. Firstly, we got to go through a process which brings about the capacity in us. So the process that we have gone through in the earlier stage was children's classes for like 6 years. And then we moved on to Junior Youth Spiritual Empowerment Program. Over there was 3 levels which we went through. And then we went on to Ruhi, which is a Baha'i-inspired study course.
When we put this junior in a group, they will have so many things to discuss among them. The more they discuss among themselves, they will have the unity among their thoughts. And when they work together, we can see good results from the work that you're doing actually.
There's a very, very wide range of activities that they can do. Besides studying the sequence of syllabus of books, they actually do activities like sing songs, they play games, play sports, and the most important part is our service project. A service project is actually something that we ourselves want to do for the community. For example, they'll clean the neighborhood, or they will clean the drainage system. So we actually guide them, but we do not give them the activities. They actually choose their own activities to do. So when we do this, the community actually observes us. And as they observe, they will feel curious and they'll start asking us, what are we doing? So we have the opportunity to share to them, and we will make this a community building process.
Junior youth have a lot of capacity. They can help to build the community, and adults too will realize and join us. And so it won't be a one-way process, it will be both ways, where everybody will come together and join the service projects and maybe have more ideas and more plans for the community. There is not only physical transformation but also spiritual transformation in the whole community.
I came across a friend who spoke to me about a religion which I found rather strange, Baha'i Faith. And I said, look, I was interested. So subsequently he took me to a family home, rather, a home of a Baha'i family who was there. He was very hospitable. And we sat and we just talked and talked and talked. And what was so amazing was that, for the first time I heard of the faith saying that it's the oneness of religion and oneness of God. And to me, to my mind, it was amazing. And the fact that he underscored by saying that it is also the oneness of humanity. And I was really struck by these 3 principles. That very night, I knelt down, and who do I turn to but Jesus Christ? And I told him, say, look, if this is the faith that you have brought to humanity, that's what I believe. Because the Baha'is told me that the Spirit of Christ is also the same Spirit as in Baha'u'llah, as in other prophets of God. Because an explanation analogy, they told us that a rose of last year's rose and this year's rose are different, and yet they're the same because it came from the same plant. So in the same way, the Spirit of Christ is evident in all the past prophets as well as in Baha'u'llah. And there, I became a Baha'i.
During the past 2 months, we are saying that we need to open up the center, to the non-Chinese. So as a result, we have some home visit. So we visited some of the Indian family. We explained that we have the children class, we have the junior youth programs. So we invite them to participate in this program. So as a result, we managed to get 10 Indian children to join our children class.
This class we just started last February. Yeah, we have around 11 children now, between 7 years old and 12 years old.
One of the interesting part of the center is that when we first approached the contractor, we explained to the contractor that this building is basically for the community building works. So the contractor is a Christian. So knowing that this is the purpose of the center, the contractor is willing to offer the price at a discounted price. And then the architect who designed this center is a Buddhist. And then the worker are Islam, and the founder is Baha'i. So you can see that the unity of all religion and building up this center.
Good thing about Jenjarom is that the people in Jenjarom, when you talk about the Baha'i Faith, they have very high regards for the Baha'i Faith. The whole community, if you say about Baha'i Faith, they say they are very good people.
There was this youth, he's a freshie who has just entered college, and he was so audacious going about talking to people about something. So I went up to listen to what he was saying. Then he said, oh, I have this new message about Baha'u'llah and the Baha'i Faith. And he said, I said, what is this all about? Is this Muslim or what? He said, no, this talks about the oneness of God, oneness of religion, oneness of mankind. When I heard that, I said, wow, you mean to say I don't have to give up any other religion? He said, no. The Baha'i Faith believes in the progressive revelation, and that from time to time, God will make manifest a prophet of God who will bring teachings that are suitable for the time that we live in, to make God's will and purpose known to man for that day. So that made me feel so comfortable that revelation has come to man through ages, through different manifestations of God. So I think this blessing that I am able to bring to my family is because of the teachings of Baha'u'llah.
So people find that there is a deeper meaning to spirituality than merely going to churches and temples. That they have an outlet to go out there and serve people.
When the Baha'i Faith came along, it sort of clicked with those who came across the faith. It just clicked. There is just now a religion that sort of embraced that way of life, that culture.
The concept of the oneness of religion, it will be one of the most important principles for us to ensure that there is understanding and harmony amongst the peoples of different religion.
The Baha'is believe that this is a very good opportunity for us to actually talk about the fundamentals of our faith.
In our simple efforts to ensure that the transformation of the society and the building of a new civilization, it begins with me, my neighborhood, the people living around me.
So in the Baha'i community, you see all these friends serving and working together, very much in unity and very much putting into practice this principle of oneness of humanity.
We have no barriers against any religion, any race, any culture, any language, and neither rich nor poor. All are one, and when we are together, we look at one another as We are all human beings. We are all serving one human race for the betterment of this world.